Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute. I know that this is the end of a work day for some of the people who are joining us, so we like to give about 3 to 5 minutes for people to jump in. I just want to bring your attention to a few housekeeping items. So you will notice that your cameras and mics are muted, but that's okay because the best way to interact with us is actually to use the Q&A button. You should find that at the top of your screen, right beside your view button. There is also a chat that you can enter where you can be able to ask some questions there or say hello. But we would prefer if you use the Q&A. That way we can address your questions directly. So again, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. So please hang out and feel free. If you have any early questions, feel free to drop those in the Q&A and maybe we could start to answer some of those for you. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have a lot of people flooding in, so I think I'll get started. My name is Adam. I am the Recruitment and Liaison Officer for the Markham campus. Welcome. I think a lot of you have probably seen me before if you've joined these sessions. We're here today to talk about some of the opportunities available for Alstom, which is one of our new partners with digital technologies. But before we get started today, I do want to just briefly recognize the land that York University is situated on. Now, we recognize that the land you are on may not be the same as we are all gathered here virtually, and we would ask that you make the appropriate acknowledgements for the land that you are currently situated on. York University recognizes that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaronto has been taken care of by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant. It's an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. Thank you, and miigwech. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the Digital Technologies program. For those of you who might have just joined us, I just want to point out that there is a Q&A button at the top of your screen that you can type in any questions you might have as they come up. I recognize a lot of you have seen the Digital Technologies presentation before, so it will be rather quick, and I'll be eager to turn things over to my colleagues from Alstom. So let's talk a little bit about what digital technologies is. So at its core, digital technologies is an applied computer science degree. Students are graduating with a 4-year degree, honors Bachelor of Science, applied science, sorry. Students will specialize in an area that matches the employment opportunities. So that could be software development, cybersecurity analysis, or data science. And you'll also gain 4 years of full-time work experience. So this is something you've probably heard about, has been done successfully in other places, such as the UK. Various countries in Europe have started in the last 2 years. Very successful also in New Zealand. So it's something with a proven track record. And you can see that as far as the UK goes, there's been a lot of success in terms of students engaging in much higher levels after they graduate, both in terms of the positions they can acquire and also the pay that they receive. So what the program really looks like is that you will be a full-time employee for our corporate partner, working 35 to 40 hours a week at a standard pay level for entry-level employees. Students will learn and work year-round, just like a regular paid position. That is, unfortunately, one of the small downsides is you no longer get summers off. But the good thing is that most students in university now work through their summers. So there's no stress to go out and find a part-time job in the summer. You're going to continue to work with your employer. You will receive some academic releases. So you'll get a 3-week foundational block at the beginning of the program that's going to set you up for success in the program. Then there will be 6 one-week blocks spread out through the academic year where you will return to campus, either in person or virtual, depending on the classes, where you will do some intensive learning. You will also be granted approximately 1/2 day per week for coursework through your job. How that looks will vary by employer to employer. Sometimes it'll be an hour at the end of every day. Sometimes that'll be half a day during the week. There are lots of different ways where that can be organized. There will be a variety of course offerings. So we will have academic-only courses where the learning objectives are met through a blend of classroom and synchronous and asynchronous learning activities. But then we're also working with some of the employers to have workplace-based courses where your learning objectives are met through a blend of both classroom, but also workplace experience, so presentations and meeting workplace benchmarks. So this is just basically a curricular overview. I won't go into too much detail, but it gives you an idea of what you'll actually be studying. So you're going to start with pretty much introductions. We are not expecting you to know anything necessarily about the digital technologies field when you come in academically. So we're going to start from the ground up. We're going to do things like understanding cyberspace and introduction to computer-based or computational problem solving. We're also going to offer some basics in web development and software development. That will continue to grow and expand your knowledge throughout the second year. In the third year is when you're really going to split up into your specializations. So whether that's cybersecurity or whether that's software development. The fourth year is going to be a lot more to do with the kind of work you're doing with your employer. So by that point, you've hopefully worked with them for 3 years, and you have a good concept of exactly what you need to learn in order to sort of better educate yourself in the field. And you'll be able to specialize in things like machine learning or cloud computing or information and data set management, depending on what kind of work you're actually doing. So these are some of our industry trailblazers that you can see who helped us to develop the program. But of course, we're constantly expanding that. Now, the application process, a lot of you are going to be through the application process. So we've already passed the point of applying to the program. There are some of you who may be here today who have not yet applied to the program. You're just really interested in looking at a position with Alstom, and that's fine. We can still help you with your application process, but really we're in the point of matching applicants with employers. And so we're in sort of that second phase. And then finally, offers of admission. So one thing I want to note about this is that the offers of admission are contingent on you getting an offer of employment. So you actually go through the employment process, the hiring process with the employers, and then once that is completed, if they offer you a position, then you will be given an offer of admission to the program with digital technologies. That's really all I have to say. I know that was really fast. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. You can put a question in the Q&A. You can also always reach out to Lassonde at ask@lassondeschool.com. The things I want you to remember about this program is that it really is earning while you learn. So you're getting paid to study and do a full-time job. And what that does is really ends the paradox. And what I mean by that is quite often we would hear students say, a lot of entry-level jobs require that I have experience, but I can't get any experience if I can't get into an entry-level job. With this, you are graduating from school with 4 years of experience with an employer, so you no longer have to worry about not having that experience. And to be perfectly frank, a lot of the employers have expressed interest in keeping students on beyond that 4 years, so there is a lot of security provided with this program. You're going to learn a lot of soft skills, critical analysis, things you would do in the workplace that you don't necessarily get in the classroom, as well as gaining the competitive edge of 4 years of work experience with a major technologies employer. And finally, you are graduating with a Bachelor of Applied Science in Digital Technologies, which again is essentially akin to a computer science degree. So that's everything I have to say about the program, but you're really not here to listen to me. In fact, you're here probably to hear what our partners have to say. And so I'd like to turn things over now. I just need to figure out how to stop sharing. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn things over now to our colleagues at Alstom, who are going to talk a little bit about their business and the position they're offering.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Adam. I guess we will be three to present about Alstom today. So I'll just start maybe with a quick roundtable so you will know who each of the speakers are going to be, and then I'll share the presentation with you. But first of all, I'm Cécile Joannicou, HR business partner with Alstom. I've been with the company for 6 years now. And so I support one of our newest project, the Go expansion project that we will tell you more about in Toronto from an HR perspective. And I have with me today, Claudia and Magali that will introduce themselves.
Okay, I will go. Hello, everyone. I'm Claudia. I'm the talent manager for Go Expansion. I've been in Alstom almost 4 years. And I give you the floor, Magali.
Yeah, thank you, Claudia. So, hello, I'm Magali. So, I'm working in Alstom now for several years, and I'm at the head of the engineering department for what we call a control center. So, we will learn a bit more after during our presentations. Thanks for joining.
Good. So let me share my screen. Good. Let me know if you can all see my screen.
Yep, that looks great.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So for today, quick presentation, but obviously we will present you Alstom Group overall. What do we do? Then we'll have a quick look at what is our presence in the Americas region, and more specifically in Canada. We will explain to you what is the Go Expansion project. Maybe you've heard about it already, living in the Toronto area, maybe not, so that will be new. Magali will then explain to you what is the Integrated Control Center department specifically. And as the fifth section, we'll have then a few slides about our opportunity, the type of apprenticeship that we're looking at, and how will be the recruitment process with us. So to start with, let's look about Alstom. And we have a really nice video to start with that. All right. So as you saw before in the video, so we do a lot of different things, but we will look at our portfolio. In terms of presence, so Alstom is the worldwide company, originally headquartered in France. So you can see we have a very strong presence in Europe, but then also in the Americas, Asia Pacific, and in Africa, Middle East, and Central Asia, which is also one of our growing region. So we have about 12,000 employees just across North and South America. And we are really an engineering company. So we have about 20,000 engineers around the world, and we really focus on innovation as part of many of the challenges that we are facing, and how to be leading also a more sustainable mobility. We really look for innovation at any time. So you can see that we have a lot of patents within the company, and we always look to increase that number. And one of the key thing as well with Alstom is that we always try to be as close as possible from our customer in order to have a successful relationship with them and to deliver successful projects. So that's why you can see we have over 250 sites across the world, and we partner with more than 300 like transportation authorities or cities around the world. In terms of portfolio, so we have different product line and different activities, if I can say, that are covering the full life cycle of our product or solution. So the first one that we call rolling stock and component, it's more about all the manufacturing, the production of the train or the subways, the streetcar, electric buses, high-speed train. We have a very wide range of product and capacity in terms of train, whether they are regional train, light train, high-speed train. So that is our main business that we call rolling stock, and it's all the manufacturing and the design of this train. Then we have the digital and integrated system branch. That will be more the one that we will talk about as part of Magali's group. But that's everything that is more around the solution, the signaling aspect, all the equipment that are going around the train, what we call wayside, so on the tracks and around and on board within the train also, to be able to communicate between the train, the control center, all this equipment to monitor traffic. That covers everything also with cybersecurity, because a lot of data and communication means we have to make sure we have a safe network for that, and all the infrastructure and telecom around that. And then we have another product line or business that we call services. And this is more related to all the maintenance activity. So once we put in service our trains or streetcars, we can also partner with some of our customer to do the preventive and corrective maintenance, making sure that we keep all this equipment and product safe and reliable throughout their life cycle. And sometimes we also do what we call retrofit, where we will renovate some of this train to give them additional years of life cycle. So now, if we look at Alstom in the Americas, so I will start with another video just to give you a bit of an overview of Alstom across the different countries, across the two different continents. We look at Alstom in the Americas, both including North and South Americas. So let's take a look.
Hola, bienvenidos a Alstom América.
Welcome to Alstom Americas.
Bem-vindos a Alstom Américas.
Bienvenue au cœur d'Alstom Amérique.
All right, so that illustrated obviously all the diversity that you could find within Alstom across the region. And so more specifically looking at Canada, so we have many different sites, a lot also in the Toronto area and around. You see we have some production site in Brampton, some offices in Mississauga, also Kingston is not too far. So we have 11 locations just across Canada. So that kind of illustrates also all the opportunities within Alstom and with a stronger presence, obviously, on the east side. Now I will leave it to Claudia to tell you a bit more about what we do here on the Go expansion project.
Thank you, Cecile. So I will speak about Alstom, specifically about Go expansion. If we go to the next slide, maybe you have heard of this project, but what is the objective of the project? This is a multi-billion dollar project that consists and will provide the expanded mobility in the greater area of Toronto and Hamilton. And what it will give to all the people that lives in Toronto, it will give you more time to go wherever you want to go. This is a consortium working. We are working with different companies, and the project is going to be in a lot of years. That's why we're trying to get new people so we can build this amazing project, because we will have a lot of position available for many years. If we go to the next slide, you can see here what are the main ridership impacts that we will have in the next years. And we are having a lot of increase over, in some of them 80%, in other 40 to 60. But as you may see, we are going to affect all the systems. Next slide. So what are we going to do here? We are going to work with signaling, with train control, with communication. Over the next years, we will upgrade all the parts of the network, bringing the first electrified parts of the network. We will also introduce the new signaling, the first one in North America. Also, we will upgrade the interlocking and the train supervision. We also are going to modify the existing rolling stocks and introduce new electrical locomotives, bringing 50-minute services to the residents of Toronto. Next slide. Okay. We are also going to have the electrification part. We are going to design, supply, install, and commission the electrification system. This will cover 6 TPS and 10 paralleling facilities, and we are going to have 657 kilometers of track with electrifies with OCS. So that's a lot of maybe things that are not easy to everyone, and especially if you're not in the company, but is to show you how big is this project and how that everything is going to be related.
And obviously that's one of the key goals also from an environmental perspective. It's to switch from all the diesel locomotive that we know today to a greener one with electrifying the network.
Okay. Also, we're going to have, this is the overall system-wide perspective that we're going to work on the project. So we have system integration, interface. We're going to have the building information modeling. We're going to have the run part, the simulation, the safety, the design verification, the test and commissioning, the requirements and the configured management. So a lot of things. And in the left part of the slide, you have a picture of the an example of improper interface management. And obviously, that's not what we're going to do. Next slide. Okay. We are also going to we are going to supply the brand new electric locomotives to replace part of the diesel services. Is what Cecile was mentioning. We want greener solution, we want better performance and comfort, and shorter trip times. We will also upgrade the existing passenger vehicles. We are going to provide audio and visual information systems, internet on board, safety systems, CCTV, new signaling solution, etc. And we will improve passenger comfort.
Good, thank you, Claudia. So now we will leave the floor to Magali to tell you a bit more about the ICC department. Good. Magali?
So I don't see the presentations vehicle. I still see the slides on vehicle supply, so that's why I'm.
Let me see if I move.
No, but perhaps it's myself.
Is it changing for you or still not? Is everyone also seeing the vehicle supply slide or?
I'm seeing the integrated control center now.
Oh, okay. So it's just my side on my side that I don't have the updated. Okay, now it's coming. Okay, so what is an integrated control center? In fact, is where all the people are managing the overall line. So you've got a picture, for example, of the control center in Montreal for the STM, where they're controlling several lines. So basically, they are controlling first all the trains. So we call that automatic train system. It allows the operator to have a view of where are all the train, where are all the drivers, manage incidents, be able to manage defect, for example, on some signal switch or anything. And this system as well allowed what we call automatic management, which is some advanced features to help the operator take the right decisions to how to operate the line, to add some trains, to adjust, I would say, the time of each train in order to enhance the passenger experience at each station. In this control center as well, we supervise equipment that are in stations. So they are monitoring what we call SCADA. So for example, we are monitoring elevator, escalator, the lights. It can be as well all what is linked to energy all along the line, which is quite important to keep the service. And all fire equipment in case of fire incidents to be able to manage those scenarios. And the last part is what we call security. Those operator to manage more passenger security, be able to do some announcements, to have some dedicated view thanks to the camera. To control access in some restricted area, supervise intrusions or fires to take proper decisions in terms of passenger evacuations and give proper advice. So all those type of supervisions are in one unique solutions in Alstom and try to get an integrated view of everyone. So here is another example of an integrated center that we have provided here. This one, I think it's in Asia. So really, it's the heart of the operations of the lines, and a lot of different actors interfere with this system. So it's quite a complex system, and it's a system as well that have very advanced and work with a lot of data, and have it's a good system as well to add some new innovations. As it helps in the decisions at the end of human. So for example, I gave an example for the management of the trains. We've got some timetables. We've got the status of all the line. We know if there are some incidents. And by having those different type of functions, we are able to adapt how we are supervising the traffic and apply the right regulations and along the line to help the more smooth journey for the passengers.
Good. So now about joining us, we're going to look a bit more at the position that we will be offering as part of the program. So I'll let Magali also explain a bit what she's looking for as part of this ICC System Designer Apprentice.
Yes, thank you, Cecile. So really, our team have a big mission. Yes, it's a complex system, and we need to define the right functions. And as the system is interfaced with a lot of other systems, it's really a matter as well of how to work between each others and each other teams. And we need as well to manage properly all our documentations, all our change in order to keep the same pace as the other subsystem and to know exactly what we are doing. So we are not only trying to put some innovations in our system, we are trying as well to find the best way to work all together and use some Scrum methodology, for example, in our development, and be agile to adapt of the need of everyone. So for that, we are looking to have someone that is joining our team and supporting our chief engineer technical manager and to help deploying some tools, managing the change, help in improving the way of working, work on the interface and control that we are doing internally and externally are working, and help on all those engineering process in the company. So really this role is a sort of transverse role that will be connected with all the different type of engineering that we have in our team and support all those teams. So what we are looking for is someone that got very good skills to navigate in the team. Yeah, for sure it should be in English as we are in Toronto, and really willing of understanding how a complex system is working, how the customer is using our system to handle different operation scenarios. And that's the main goal. We don't have specific technical requirements for this position.
Good, thank you. And so in addition to that, we will be also opening, this is the new part, but we will also be opening a role for a cybersecurity designer to be more on the network aspect. So this posting, you might not have seen it yet. We will share it with the university very soon, but it was just released on our end. So the idea will be also to bring an apprentice to support the cybersecurity team and training that person about cybersecurity standard and requirement that will be required on the project. As you've seen throughout the different videos and presentation, we have a lot of data communication, a lot of data flows on this project and between all the different application and software. So, and more today, cybersecurity is a key point for our customer to make sure that no one can breach the network and interrupt the traffic or cause any kind of issue like that. So we're focusing more and more on that. So that will be added very shortly to the posting so you can review in addition. But obviously, all training will be provided on that. Right now, we're just looking for people that will be just comfortable, obviously, with the IT environment, Microsoft Office. If you've maybe done already a little bit of programming, or if you like to play with this kind of coding languages, that will be always a plus, but not required for the position. And just a strong interest in the cybersecurity concept and methodology. So now I will leave Claudia to explain you what will be our recruitment process within Alstom.
Yes, for the first one, we're going to have the application until June 28th, I mean next week. After that, we are going to review all the resumes and we're going to select for the interviews. Then we will have the technical interview with the manager and also a team member. Then we will have the HR interview, and then we will select the candidate and we will send the offer letter. For the other position, the The application will be for other date, obviously,
Mhm.
because we don't have yet published that. What are we looking for? What you need to do? You need to be curious. You need to be prepared. Tell us what is your interest in the or your understanding of sustainable mobility. Explain why you want to have this internship with us, and highlight any prior experience you might have or any project you might have.
I think it's just a few things to help you maybe in how to prepare for a potential interview. But obviously, we know that this apprenticeship format is kind of new in Canada. So that's one thing also that we want to hear from you is to why you are considering that as part of your education, knowing that it's maybe not the most well-known stream for education in Canada. So that's just a few things that might help you in the preparation. If you are selected for any interviews with us.
Thank you, Cecile. So why you should join Alstom? Because we are caring by nature, are responsible by nature, and innovative by nature. What does that mean? When we talk about nature, you will join a community that cares about people, and therefore we cares for people. Then, in the responsible part, we play a part in bringing together the mobility, and also we're responsible not only with the environment, but with the people and in the cities that we work in. And innovative because we benefit from nurturing culture of inclusive and collaborative innovation. What you would like about us? We have a strong community of interns and new graduates in Toronto, in Greater Toronto, and across Canada, and also in other countries. We have a diversity of our internship and permanent job opportunities uh, across all the product lines and all the functions. And after you finish your project, you can become a permanent employee with us. We also have innovation and challenge. We have a lot of projects inside the company that promote the innovation, and this goes on not only to your work, your daily basis work, but also in other type of innovation you can participate. We have listening and caring management, and we have the freedom to act and grow among us. And then we have a quick video.
The last one, and then we open the floor for question. But good. All
So
right.
now it's time for questions,
Now we want to hear from you.
comments.
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for that presentation. I have to say that is one of the better presentations we've seen from an employer, and really impressive.
Thank you.
So again, if you have any questions for the Alstom team, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. So quick question, and this may be maybe one of our Lassonde team members could help us. But the position, when will it be posting? Is it already posted? I don't know if Felicia, you could speak to that.
I think they're asking about the new role that was mentioned.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and I haven't heard on
Yeah,
what
no.
date
So
that will
for
be
the
posted.
cybersecurity, yeah, we've just released that today on our end. So I will be sharing that very soon with Marily, and hopefully by end of week or early next week, we'll work on making sure that it can be posted. But then we'll extend a bit the application period, obviously. I believe the ICC one should have been posted already for a week or so. So you might be more familiar, but the cybersecurity one, we will do the same. So we'll open it, I say, by early next week. You should be able to see and apply for it.
You should also receive an email letting you know that it's open. And the other one, yes, you're right, it has been open since earlier last week.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll give a minute for any other questions. I also wanted to say thank you so much for providing the advice for the interview. I think that's a question that often comes up, and I think that's a really fantastic bit of advice for students gathered here today. It doesn't look like we have any questions right now, but that doesn't mean some won't come up later. So if you think of questions later, please reach out to us, obviously, through the application process. Oh, sorry, we do have one question.
And I do have another one, if not for the for the audience.
Hang on, we go. So someone's asking about how the process for confirming that an application was received. Is that something that's set up as automatic, or is there a way a student who applies can get a confirmation that their application has been submitted?
So far, I believe that would be more on the university side, because I believe they are applying on the.
No, I think that was a. So at the university, the applications, you'll get an immediate confirmation by email for applying to the program. And if you have a question, please feel free to just go ahead and put it in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'd be happy to answer those questions. So there's a good question. How many positions are you hiring for the digital technologies program with Alstom total?
So I think at the moment we have one position open for each role that we've seen, and we are potentially looking at opening other position, but outside of the Go expansion project. I know there might have been some discussion, so we're following up with some manager. Right now it's one for each, and we'll see if we can have additional opportunities.
Fantastic. And so I see a question in terms of the curriculum. So the curriculum for all digital technology students will essentially be the same, differing only by the stream, and the stream is determined by the position you take. So they're closely tied. Obviously, we won't have you doing software development if you're in a cybersecurity role. So those are tied together. In terms of the structure of the internship, I think we've got a pretty good idea of what to expect. But is there any more that maybe you could share in terms of the day-to-day integration, how integrated these positions will be with the rest of your team, or if they'll be sort of in their own pool?
Oh no, they will be very well integrated as part of any team member. And Magali can comment on that, but obviously really our intention, at least with the Go expansion project, is to have a variety of level within a team. So we're really trying to bring junior profile with intermediate and more experience profile to really have this kind of knowledge sharing and developing our engineers at all level on specific areas. So no, they will be part of the team as anyone else, being involved with all kind of activities, really to expose them also to get them to see the overall picture of what the the department is doing. And Magali can comment, we already have a few junior engineers that were freshly graduated also that have joined the team in that effort.
Yes, exactly. Like in my team, today we've got young graduates that just graduated last week, and we've got very senior people that are really, really experienced with more than 40 years of experience in the area. And we wanted to match to do some sort of mentorship. It helps a lot having some new ideas and the knowledge of the area altogether. That really brings adding value to find better solutions.
That's fantastic. That sounds like a really great setup and a huge advantage. So Gabriel had an interesting question, and it's okay to not know the answer because I understand that some things are still in development. But do you have an inkling of where the ICC position would fall in terms of whether it's a data science, cybersecurity, or software development? Sort of what I guess would be the heaviest contribution in those, or what stream students would belong to?
Yeah, that's true. It's between the software development and the data management because it's software that deals with data. So you can switch with both of them. Like with the agile methodology, we are much linked to how we develop software, but on the other hand, with all the data that we are monitoring, yeah, that's true. It's going a bit it's switch with both, I would say.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I think there is going to be some flexibility, especially in those third and fourth years. The program will be very flexible based on the position. So we have a question. How many in-class hours per week? It's actually going to be a full-time position. So keep in mind that not all of your classes are going to be offered sort of during the day. A lot of the classes are offered asynchronously, which unfortunately we all have a lot of experience with asynchronous learning. And so we're going to leverage all of the strengths we learned during the pandemic to really help DT students have access to a timing that works for them, because we understand you're going to be working full time. But you will be studying full time, and so you can expect the commensurate hours, which, you know, it depends on estimates in terms of homework and everything, but on the outside, you're talking about 30 hours of including studying and homework. And I saw someone had to drop out, but I didn't get a chance to say thank you, but this presentation's been really wonderful. So thank you all for helping with that. And then see, there's okay, so we have a good question, and this comes up a lot. Someone who doesn't have a technical background, is it still possible for them to be selected for a position given that they'll be studying technical fields in their academics?
So yes, definitely that's the intent to open position for an apprentice. It's really to be able to develop someone in that role. So even without the technical background, that's where we know there will be all the academic training provided also throughout the course of the 4 years. And in addition to that, we have our own Alstom University that any employee can benefit from. So we have technical academies for each of the topic that we've seen. And that will be a good way also for anyone, and so for the apprentice as well, to benefit for even more technical training. We have a technical onboarding just for any new joiner that is about 25 to 30 hours of technical pure content. So definitely, we will provide the adequate training, adequate mentoring and support in that position. We're not expecting to have someone that already knows or already had the full engineering background. If not, we will go with just full-time engineer position. But the idea, as we say, is really to have all kind of background and level of experience in the team to develop also new talent.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, just in addition, Alstom is already working with this type of program in some other country. And so we know all the benefits that both the students and the company got this type of apprenticeship that leads after to some new engineering.
You know, I've talked to a lot of the students who are applicants to the program, and I'm sure some of them are here. And I think I speak on their behalf when I hear a big smile and sigh of relief to hear you talk about that, because I think it's one of the number one concerns that people have, and it's so wonderful to work with a company that understands the program on that level. So truly, thank you. So I know we're running out of time. And if you didn't get your question answered, please, I encourage you to reach out to ask@lasonschool.york.ca or to reach out through the application process to Alstom. I always like to give our guests the last word to our potential applicants. So I will turn things over to you before we say goodbye.
Good, thank you. So we look forward to seeing you essentially through this recruitment process. But as we've said before, for us, the key aspect would be obviously the mindset and the curiosity that you might have about the railway industry. That was going to be one of my questions, but it's to know if any of you had heard about Alstom before or about the railway industry. But we hope at least that if you had not, we maybe started to plant a seed in your mind to consider railway, because that's an industry that is not well known, but that has a lot of opportunities and a lot of interesting challenges that you could participate in regards with sustainable mobility. So we really look forward to seeing you through this recruitment process.
Fantastic. Well, I will really, really, truly want to thank Alstom for coming to be here with us today. That was a fantastic presentation. I also want to thank you, whether you're joining us here live or if you're watching the recording afterwards. Thank you for coming to learn a little bit more about the Digital Technologies program and about Alstom. With that, I'm going to say good night, and hopefully we'll hear from you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.